Runners and riders, they're headed by number 1 Feathered Gale, which is one of 4 runners saddled by Arthur Moore, who's ridden by Mr. John McNamara. 2 is the ex-British Antonin, ridden by the former amateur Ken Whelan. 3 is Lord Singapore, the mount of David Casey. 4, wearing blinkers for the first time, an old hero in Nuaf, ridden by Terry Mitchell. 5 is Second Schedule, ridden by Mr. Greg Harford. 6 is Wild Hyde, perhaps the number 1 of Arthur Moore's runners, and carrying the colours of J.P. McManus. He's ridden by Francis Word. 7 is Ballyhar Lad, now ridden by Mr. Barry Cash. 8 is Tritherian, Brian Bowens. 9 is Heist, ridden by Kevin O'Brien. 10, quietly fancied outsider, Love and Porter, ridden by Doc O'Connor, the older brother rather, of Warren O'Connor. 11's another Arthur Moore one, Whale of a Night, the third favourite, Paul Carberry. 12 is the favourite, New Co, ridden by Conor O'Dwyer. 13 is Back Bar, the mount of Shane Broderick. 14, Time for a Run, the mount of Richard Dunwoody, also in the McManus colours. 15 is Topical Tip, the mount of Tommy Tracy. 16, Beat the Second, Charlie Swan. And 17, Dancing Vision, the mount of James Jones.
About the 11 to 4 mark, moving between 3s and 5 to 2. No great market move, but interesting to see Time for a Run, 7 to 1 down to 6 to 1. Remember, it was 10 to 1 on the tissue prices this morning. Time for a Run, one of 2 in the race, owned by J.P. McManus.
Beat the Second, the grey on the inside, with the top weight Feathered Gale up there too, and also Topical Tip as they come to the first of the 17 fences. Feathered Gale jumps it just in front of Topical Tip. They're all safely over and running down now towards the second, the first of the ditches, and Topical Tip, Feathered Gale, Wild Hyde up with them on the outside, and then Antonin, Nuaf moving through the field, blinkered for the first time today at the second, and Nuaf leads into it from Wild Hyde in second. Again, all safely over and heading towards fence number 3. Wild Hyde on the outside of Topical Tip and Nuaf. Wild Hyde, Topical Tip, Nuaf in 3. Then Feathered Gale on the inside of Antonin, and they're followed by Back Bar, and then Ballyhar Lad, and behind Ballyhar Lad comes Beat the Second, and they're followed by Trifirian and Whale of a Night. At the 4th, Wild Hyde from Topical Tip, got in a bit close, passed by Nuaf, then Antonin, and behind Antonin comes Feathered Gale, and they're followed by Ballyhar Lad and Back Bar, and then Beat the Second and Trifirian. They're followed by Whale of a Night, and then Time for a Run. They're followed by Lord Singapore. Coming out of the 5th, the second of the ditches, and Nuaf leads into it, jumps it well ahead of Wild Hyde in second. They're followed in 3rd place by Topical Tip, and then Antonin. Feathered Gale is next, and behind Feathered Gale, Back Bar, then Ballyhar Lad, Trifirian, Beat the Second, and then Whale of a Night, and behind Whale of a Night is Time for a Run with Lord Singapore and Heist, and then Dancing Vision, Love and Porter, second schedule, and the favourite Newco brings up the rear as they jump fence number 6. And running on now towards the straight, Nuaf the leader, followed in second by Wild Hyde with Topical Tip 3, Antonin just behind them in 4, then Back Bar as they straighten up for the 7th. Nuaf in the lead from Wild Hyde on the right of the picture, then Topical Tip, the yellow and green colours of Antonin, and then Feathered Gale. Back Bar is next, tracked by the grey Beat the Second. They're followed over it by Trifirian as they come up to past the stand, 7 fences behind them. Nuaf the leader from Wild Hyde and Antonin, and then Topical Tip and Feathered Gale, and they're followed by Back Bar and Ballyhar Lad, and then Trifirian, and behind Trifirian is Beat the Second, and then Whale of a Night. Past the winning post for the first time, Nuaf the leader from Antonin in second, then Wild Hyde. They're followed by Topical Tip, and then Feathered Gale and Back Bar and Ballyhar Lad, and then Trifirian and Beat the Second and Whale of a Night and Lord Singapore. Heist is next ahead of Time for a Run. Turning to face fence number 8. Nuaf from Antonin in second, then Wild Hyde towards the right in 3rd place. They're followed by Topical Tip and Back Bar, and behind these Feathered Gale, Beat the Second next on the inside. Ballyhar Lad towards the left in the orange colours. This is the 9th, Nuaf the leader as they come to halfway. Nuaf over from Antonin in second, Wild Hyde is 3rd. They're followed in 4th place by Back Bar, then Ballyhar Lad, Topical Tip getting a couple of reminders, and then Feathered Gale. Going left-handed towards the back straight. Nuaf by 3 lengths to Antonin. Wild Hyde is third. Then Back Bar and Ballyharlad and Feathered Gale. They're followed by Time for a Run, who's made a bit of ground. Topical Tip has lost a few places. Coming to the 10th. Nuaf the leader from Antonin in second, then Wild Hyde, Back Bar and Ballyharlad, and then comes Feathered Gale, followed by Time for a Run, and behind Time for a Run is Topical Tip, and then Triferian and Whale of a Night and Beat the second, and then Yuko. Behind Yuko is Second Schedule, and then Dancing Vision, Lord Singapore, Love and Porter at the back with Heist. Fence number 11, a mile from home. Nuaf the leader, jumps it well from Antonin in second, and they're followed in third place by Wild Hyde, and we've lost one at that one. Triferian it is that's gone. Triferian a faller. As they come to the 12th, another ditch, and Nuaf from Antonin. Wild Hyde is third, Back Bar, Ballyharlad, and then Feathered Gale. And they're followed by Time for a Run, Yuko, and Beat the second, then Whale of a Night. Dancing Vision, Topical Tip dropping back through the field, and comes Second Schedule. Running towards the next fence, 5 from home. Nuaf the leader, over from Antonin in second place. In third place is Wild Hyde. Back Bar is fourth. Fifth place on the outside is Ballyharlad. Whale of a Night has made ground behind him. Then Time for a Run. Yuko making steady progress. Going now to the fourth last. And Nuaf the leader, over and met that one wrong, but got away with it. Antonin's in second, and then Back Bar, Wild Hyde, Ballyharlad. Whale of a Night tracks the leaders. Then Time for a Run. Yuko improving on the outside, and they're followed by Dancing Vision making a bit of ground. Down now towards the third last, and Antonin shows just ahead of Nuaf with just behind these Back Bar and Ballyharlad, and Nuaf is gone there, hit it very hard, and he's out of the race, and leaving Ballyharlad and Antonin in front. Yuko has moved up just behind them in third. Back Bar, Wild Hyde. Time for a Run is in contention, and there on the outside is Dancing Vision as they come towards the second last fence now, and it's Antonin the leader. Antonin from Yuko on the outside of Ballyharlad, Wild Hyde just behind them, and they're followed by Time for a Run and Back Bar as they run the turn into the straight. One fence to jump in the Paddy Power Handicap chase. Yuko left of the picture, the noseband Wild Hyde. Antonin is just behind them as they straighten up for the last. Wild Hyde, Yuko on the near side. Time for a Run in third, then Antonin and Back Bar, and they're followed by Dancing Vision as they come to the last. Yuko and Conor O'Dwyer from Wild Hyde and Francis Woods, they ride to the last. Yuko on the near side, Wild Hyde on the far side, and they race now up towards the last 150 yards. Wild Hyde and Yuko chased by Time for a Run in third, racing inside the last 100 yards. Yuko on the near side, Wild Hyde on the far side. They battle it out neck and neck. Yuko on the near side of Wild Hyde as they go to the line. Yuko's going to win the Paddy Power. Yuko the favourites home. Second is Wild Hyde, and they're cleared of Time for a Run 3. Fourth place, Back Bar, 5 Antonin, and they're clear of Dancing Vision, Feathered Gale, then Beat the second, followed in by Heist, and then came Second Schedule, Whale of a Night, Lord Singapore, Ballyharlad. Behind Ballyharlad was Topical Tip, and a long way back to Love and Porter.
Prices on the Paddy Power Handicap chase. The winner, number 12, New Co, the 11-4 favourite. Second, number 6, Wild Hyde at 8-1, and third, number 14, Time for a Run at 6-1. The fourth horse was number 13, Back Bar.